All right, then, since we successfully finished the list and we understood how to use the list, how to access the list, how to access the elements inside the list, how to insert a new and how to remove an element from the list. Basically, we discussed all the important thing about the list, right? So now let's jump into the tuple. So you have to understand that tuple is ordered and indexed just exactly the same like the list. So we can use the same methods for accessing and for accessing the elements and for looping the elements, which is quite common for list and tuple. But the only one important thing that you have to notice that list is changeable, but in the other hand, tuple is unchangeable, which means once the tuple is created, you can't add a new element and you can't remove an element. You can either delete the entire tuple. That's the only thing that we can do, right? Or else what we have to do, we have to change the tuple to list, add it, then change the list from to tuple. That's what we can do, right? Both of them will allow the duplicate values. That means you can keep the same value inside the list, right? So let's go ahead and do the tuple. So as I said, instead of square brackets for tuple, we need to use the curly, the normal brackets. So I'm going to change this square brackets to normal brackets. All right, so now this is our tuple. So all I have to do is to say print fruits. Let's say, you can see this is our tuple, and if we want to get the type of it, type, just use the type method. That is going to give you the type of that. You can see it is a tuple. Now you can access it by using the same way, like how by using the position numbers, or you can use the looping method, whatever you wish to. That is going to give you the exact same. You can see you can access the tuple values and everything, but you can't update the value. If I say fruits of 2, it's going to be kiwi. Now if I run this, that will throws an error. Tuple does not support item assignment. This is the error because you can't change anything once the tuple is created. Basically, we use the tuple a lot when you're trying to pass the value from one functions to another, or database connections and everything. We use it as a tuple, right? So since we can't update or add or delete anything inside the tuple, which means you can't use any of the add method like insert or append, none of the method will work, which is exactly like in the list, because tuple is unchangeable. So if you wish to do so, I want to add this. So how can we do? So what I can do is, so I can change this to a list. So my list, we can use the list constructor to convert a tuple into a list. So we can send that fruits to a list. Now this my list is a list, so I can add anything inside my list dot append kiwi. Then I can convert to again to a tuple. So my tuple, new tuple, let me create a new tuple. My tuple equals to tuple. That's a method will help you to convert anything into a tuple. Then let's supply your list into it, the updated list. Now if I print this my tuple, now your previous tuple value gets updated, and at the end you can see kiwi. This is the only possible way that you can update your tuple. You have to create a new list, add the value, then you have to convert it into a new tuple, then you can keep that new tuple for your purpose, right? This is how you can update or delete anything from the tuple. All right, but this is unnecessary because that is not the functionality of the tuple over here. So let me delete this, or let me comment it, save the change. All right, so this is the most important thing when it comes to the tuple. Since the everything is going to be changed just like the list, these are the things that you need to notice with the tuple. Then the next thing we are going to discuss about is the set. All right, set is a collection, which I already said to you. Set is a collection which is unordered, unindexed, and it's returned inside the curly brackets. So when it comes to set, it is always going to be unique value. So which means I can't keep the same value. I can't keep the same value like this. Again, like this. See, if I try to print this, what's happening? Fruits. See, it's going to keep only that specific value, only one value. See, grapes, apple, banana, orange. It is not going to show any error or anything, but it will returns that value only one time, because the second duplicate value will be always be ignored. And you can see the order, how exactly it's ordered. None of them will be ordered, arranged in a specific order. Now, if I type it one more time, it will gives the value in a different order. This is what happens whenever you're working with the set. Set will shuffles up the value every single time whenever you're trying to execute it. This is what happens whenever you're working with the set. So it doesn't allow you to have a duplicate value, which means it doesn't throw any error. It will keep the value, but it will always display the only one value of that occurrence. All right. So how to access these each and every element? So since we don't have the position numbers, so how can we access it? So we can access it only by looping through it, by using the object iterations. So for let's say x value in fruits, we can access that x value and we can print that x value over here. That's it. This is the only way that we can do. Every time when you're running it, it will always gives you the different values order. That's because it is a set. Okay. So how to change the item? Once a set is created, you cannot change its item, but you can add a new item to it. I can't change any existing item because we don't have any position number to target that specific position. So we cannot change the item inside a set, but we can add a new item into a set. So let's see what are the different methods that we do have to add a new element into a list, into a set. So we have add method and also we have update method. These are the two sets of method that we do have to update a new element into a list. Let's see what does add method do. Add method, it helps you to one item at a time. One item at a time. So let's say I want to add fruits dot add jackfruit. I want to add this fruit to that set. Then all I have to do is to print the fruits. You can see it will not either insert in the starting position or in the ending position. It will insert it in somewhere inside. See, so it doesn't insert the value either in the starting or ending or in a specific position. It will always insert, it will insert that value into the set, but the position it will always varies because it is shuffling up every single time. All right. So on the other hand, update method will help you to update the list of, that means the more than one element. It helps you to add more than one element as a list. We can push the list of element into the set. We can use a list to send the list of elements into the set. For instance, let's say fruits dot update, create a list of elements. Let's say I want to add kiwi, then I want to add jackfruit, then I want to add the pineapple, then I need to add the mango. These are the values that I need to add. So now if I try to run it, you can see every single value, whatever I given inside the list, it's been inserted, but they are randomly inserted here and there. That's the beauty of the set. All right. So this is how you can add a new element into a set. So since we able to add an element, which means we can able to remove the element also. So for removing an element, to remove an element from the set, we have different sets of methods, which is remove. Of course, we know that how the remove method will work in the list, and we have the discard method, and of course at last we have the delete keyword, and we do have the clear method, right? So basically we know the remove method. The remove method will remove the value based on remove an element from the set based on its value. For instance, if I want to remove the jackfruit, it will remove that jackfruit only if it is inside that set. If it is not inside that set, it is going to throw an error. So to avoid that, I'm going to use the discard. See here. So I'm going to remove fruits dot remove this pineapple. I know that the pineapple is not inside that set. It's going to throw an error. See? But if in case, if I'm using this, instead of using this remove method, if I'm using this discard, so that error is default inbuiltly handled inside that. You can see, okay, so let me hide this. Let me hide this. And now you can see the pineapple is not inside there. We know that, but still it is ignored, right? So if I try to remove the grapes, that will be deleted. It will try to figure it out whether that value is inside the set or not. If it is inside that, then it will remove that element. If it is not, it will simply ignore it. The remaining, the delete method, which is exactly the same, it will help you to delete the entire set, and the clear will help you to clear the entire set. That's it. These are the different sets of methods that we need to discuss in the set to work and to use the set and tuple more efficient to create an efficient code, effective code, right? Then we have to discuss the dictionary. That's the final collection in your Python.